Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about the principles of management given by Henry Fayol. As we all know that the principles are general guidelines for us which are the experience of researchers of management theory. So today we will start with the principle which is named as principle of scalar chain. In this principle, the official route of communication between A and G is passes through B, C, D, E, F, then to G. Which means if A wants to communicate with G, in normal circumstances, he will have to pass the prescribed channels, which is B, then C, then D, E, F, and G. Then only A can communicate with G. So this route is known as official route of communication. But when there is certain emergency, he can directly communicate with G through gangplank. Means for emergent situation we have provided a facility that they can communicate at any level in any direction without following the official route of communication. But remember that it should be only in case of emergency. It must not be a regular practice. So it has two aspects. One is in normal situation we have to follow the official route of communication, and in case of emergency we can use the gang plank. Now the next, so it is division of work. Division of work principle focuses on specialization. Means every work should be performed by specialists only. Those who are expert in any particular work, only they should be assigned that work. If they don't know the work completely, it will not be assigned to them. So if everyone is specialized at his own activity, then the organization can achieve its goals effectively as well as efficiently. Next point is third point, that is authority and responsibility. Authority and responsibility lies at the top level, and sometimes it can be delegated to the middle level or lower level. Sometimes the managers delegate their powers or authorities to the subordinates or juniors. So, whenever such delegation is done, there must be a balance between the authority and responsibility. Means the authority and responsibility must be equal. If there is more authority, then it will be chances of misuse of authority. And if there is more responsibility, less authority, then the work cannot be performed properly. So, according to Fayol, there must be a balance between both of them. Next point is discipline. Discipline focuses on rules and regulations. So, all employees are generally bound to follow the organizational rules and regulations. If they follow them properly, then there are less chances of disputes. Otherwise, there may be a chaos among the employees. So, all rules and regulations must be clearly provided to the employees. They must be told to them that these are the do's and these are the don'ts, and the workers who are performing not properly must be penalized if they are violating the discipline. Next point is unity of command. Unity of command means a worker should receive orders from only one boss at a particular time. Sometimes in the organization, it happens that the employees are getting orders from more than one bosses at the same time. Then it creates a confusion among the employee that whose task has to be performed before others. So, just for avoiding such confusion, Henry Fayol has devised this principle. It says that a worker should receive orders from only one boss at a time. Next principle is unity of direction. Unity of directions tell us that there is an organizational objective. The top level is deciding the goals, the targets, and whatever he has planned, he will direct it to the middle level, and then middle level tell to the bottom level, and the bottom level or supervisory level will get it done by the workers. So whenever we are in an organization, we must have to follow the organizational goal which is decided by the top management. There must not be subsidiary plans. If there are subsidiary plans, then they must be in accordance with the main plan. So overall, we have to move in one direction. It also states about one head and one plan. Means the function of head is performed by the management, and the workers will have to move ahead within the same guidelines which are prescribed by the top management. Now, next principle is subordination of individual interest to general interest. So, there are two terms in this principle. First one is individual interest. Individual interest here means the personal objectives. Sometimes the employee have a personal objective like getting good salaries, getting more holidays, getting additional perquisites or perks, or getting retirement benefits. So these are the individual interest, or it may be a departmental interest or departmental objective. When the organization is huge or large in size, then certain department also have their own goals, and the departmental heads sometimes prioritize their own goals above the organizational goal. So it is not a good habit. And it is the first term. Now the second term is general interest. General interest means organizational objective. So we have to keep our individual interest subordinate before the general interest. Means we have to give priority to the general interest. If the company is getting profit, then only individual interest can be achieved. If company is not getting profit, then individual goals will not be achieved. So we have to make our individual interests subordinate in front of general interest. Means the most important interest or objective is organizational objective. Now come to the next principle, that is remuneration of employees. The word remuneration here means salary or wages, whatever they are getting in any form. So the remuneration of employee must be just, fair, equitable according to their qualification, nature of work, nature of job, or according to the industry norms. Industry norms here means if we are giving them salary, say 30,000, then for the same work in another same business, what the workers are getting? They may be getting 25,000 or they may be getting 35,000. So we have to follow the industry norms also, that in the same industry for the same work how much salary is being paid, as well as the salary which is being paid to the employee must give him a reasonable standard of living. If he is not able to fulfill his daily requirement from the salary or wages whatever he is getting, then certainly he will leave the job. So management should focus on all the aspect of the salary or remuneration. The employee must be happy with the salary as well as the management. Means it should be in the paying capacity of the management. Or we can say that there is a balance, there must be a balance between the happiness of employee as well as employer. The next point is centralization and decentralization. Both are extreme situations, both are opposite to each other, because centralization refers to retaining authority at one level, which is similar to the dictatorship. Means for each and every work the whole power rests with the top management. Even for a small task we have to ask from the top management, then it will be called centralization. Means employees are not free to take their own decisions. And opposite to this, in case of decentralization, each and everyone is free to take their own decisions according to their problems. So it is also not a good situation. These two are extreme points. Here, each and every employee has no authority to take any decision for any task, and here in decentralization, all of them are free to take their own decision. So we have to find a midway, or we can say we have to make a balance between these two terms. Means there must be a centralized decentralization in the organization. Whenever required, the management can take decision, and if the task is of a routine nature, which require less skills, which has less impact on the organization, the employee can take their decisions at their own. Next point is order. According to this principle, Fayol want to say that all the physical resources as well as human resources must present at their place. Like we can take an example of library where all the books are arranged properly. Like we want to get the books of mathematics or accountancy, we can easily find it because all books in the library are arranged in such a manner that every rack has a label, and according to label we can find it. But imagine what happens when all the books are jumbled up at a one place in a pile. Then it is very difficult to find a particular book. So the principle of order says that each and everything must be at their place. Suppose an employee is working in a workshop and the tools which must be present there are not available, then what happened? It will be a wastage of time, money and efforts. Now next principle, that is principle of equity. Principle of equity states that we must treat our employees equally irrespective of their gender, means whether they are male or female, they are equal, irrespective of their religion. They may be of any religion, but we have to ignore the religious aspect. Their caste, their background. So we must have to treat all the employees equally, just similar as any law recognize the citizens of an employee. All citizens of our country are equal in the eyes of law. So the management have to play such type of role and treat all the employees equally. Next principle is stability of personnel. The word personnel here means employees. So the employees of an organization must have some job security. They must be made permanent after evaluating them. We have to give them a reasonable time to show their performance. Suppose we hire an employee today and if he is not adjusted in the organization, he is not able to perform well, we can fire him the next day. But it is not a good practice. We have to give them substantial time so that he will be adjusted in our organization and show his or her performance. And after evaluating them, then it is our choice to retain them or to leave them. If employees of an organization are permanent, they feel some belongingness to the organization, they try to work hard. So according to Fayol, the employees must not be taken on ad hoc basis, means on temporary basis. They must be made permanent, but remember, only after properly evaluating them. Next point is initiative, which means all the employees must be given some authority to give suggestion to the organizations which are constructive and beneficial for our organization at every level. And last point is esprit de corps, that means team spirit. We must have to develop a team spirit among the workers so that they know each other, they work as a team, and they must have some belongingness to the organization as well as the employees. So thank you, students.